If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new songs in the description. I want to thank you for the rather positive feedback I've gotten on the first episode of this podcast, and I want to continue doing this. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then, you've just seen it as a video, but this is actually a podcast over on all the different platforms that you can listen to podcasts. And starting from next episode, I also want to, do this with video, like filming myself, doing different things with visuals that people on YouTube can get a better picture for this. But also, if you're, for example, watching this on Spotify, then you can also enable the video feature and watch me talking to this mic while also listening to this. I guess that's, how that works. But today, I wanted to talk about something that I've been thinking about for quite some time concerning hip-hop. And I love to do these podcast episodes about this because this is not like a thing that I can make like a very concise video about because there's not a lot of stuff that I can show y'all or any evidence, but rather just something that I want to discuss and maybe get a couple of thoughts out there about. That's why, that's what these podcasts are for. And that is about Drake. Drake, I believe, is in a very, very interesting place right now because he just released, not just, but about a month ago, I believe, I think exactly a month ago, or one day, he released Honestly Nevermind, his new album, the latest album that was a surprise drop that people really didn't expect and that didn't turn out to be the way that people expected it to be. You got to know, before that, Drake dropped CLB, which we were all all hyping up so much. It was supposed to drop a year earlier. We were all hyping this up to be the next great Drake album, and him coming back after some mediocre works on, for example, Scorpion, the last release, the last album that he had, which was just very, to me, it also seemed very lazy. He just put a lot of songs on there. It seemed very commercial the way that he could kind of roll this out. Not a lot of original work, like we saw on Take Care or Nothing Was the Same, and I keep referencing these, but to me, those are just the best Drake albums. Like, that's the Drake albums that I enjoy the most and that I go back to the most, and I'm like, okay, every track on those albums had some personality. Every track on those albums was like really its own character, and we could just there was no skip in the playlist because you liked each individual song and no song went unnoticed. While half of the track list on Scorpion could be replaced by the other half. I don't want to take away credit from this. Scorpion has some highlights on there. So does CLB. I'm not talking about the No Friends in the Industries, the 7 a.m. Track that was on there, and also Knife Talk was great as well, except when Drake comes in with the whole Poppy's outside. That was really, really uncomfortable to listen to, not gonna lie. But it did have some outstanding moments. I love the Jay-Z verse on there. I think Lil Baby did a great job on there. A lot of artists also that we didn't expect to be on here, that delivered. And so the album isn't bad in itself in the individual tracks. You can probably find something about each track that you're like, okay, this is not bad. But just what we were expecting from Drake coming through after more than 3 years with the new album, we thought it was going to be something more timeless. And we also thought that maybe there was still something coming. And when Honestly Nevermind first got announced, we all had this crazy theory of like, on the CLB cover, it's 9 pregnant women, or I think it's 9. I think it's 9. And how long is a woman pregnant? 9 months, again corresponding to the number 9 that was on the cover. And exactly almost 9 months later, we get Honestly Nevermind, or the announcement. So people were like, okay, CLB was just a joke. It was like, CLB was, and this is gonna sound very weird for me to say, but CLB was like Drake impregnated the music. Okay, this sounds very weird, but y'all get what I'm saying. Like, that was like the conception point, and then 9 months later, we got the actual album, which is Honestly Nevermind. But then Honestly Nevermind came around, and it was this house R&B record that was really not what we expected. And I know a lot of y'all like the album, and I get that it is being played by people, and that it's something that I guess a lot of people enjoy, and that you can play in like various occasions, and like if you're out on in a beach bar, I can definitely see that being played. And in that case, I would also like the record. But from a hip-hop lover's perspective, who looks at Drake's career and is like, the last 2 albums, or like the last 5 years, have been really mid. Like, no classic record. we all thought that something was gonna come, and then this album comes around, and it, even the night before, I remember, the night before he announced this, about 6 hours before it dropped, and I saw all the theories on like, oh, it's the pregnant emojis 9 months later, now the actual album is coming out, he's gonna really get retribution for CLB and stuff like that. And then an album like that comes, it was just like, I don't want to say a punch in the face for anyone expecting that, but it was really unexpected. So that's the whole situation going on there. And so, of course, after Honestly Nevermind, which is also not doing that well, commercially after its release, it's a Drake, album. He can drop anything and it would get millions of streams. But the best song so far, a month later, is Jimmy Cooks with 21 Savage, which is dope, by the way. That is a pretty good track. Also, Sticky is dope. But it sold 204,000 copies in its first week, which is not bad by any means, but by Drake means it's below average. And also when you look at the streaming numbers, as I said, the best song on there, 21 Savage joined Jimmy Cooks. When you look at the Spotify numbers, it hasn't surpassed 100 million streams after a month, which I know is crazy scales that we're talking about. That is, anyone should be amazingly happy about getting, where is it now, 95 million after a month. But Drake has done, with all the albums, even CLB, I think the best track on there had over, more than that. And so you can see that this album is generally commercially not being accepted that well. And so, of course, people are like, okay, when is the rap Drake coming back? When is the rap singing Drake coming back? And not the singing, Honestly Nevermind Drake, like the rap singing Drake that I'm talking about. Y'all know what I mean. Come on, take care. That's what I'm referencing. And so the question is if Drake is ever going to be able to come back to that level. And he did say in an interview with Table for One, the Sirius XM show, and I've talked about this on YouTube quite a bunch, quite a lot in the past as well. He did say that Scary Hours 3 is actually coming. He said that it's going to drop later on this year. He did say sooner than you might think. So even on YouTube, I've expressed the theory that it might even come in July still, or August. I think August might be more accurate. And that could completely change our minds. That is the hope that we have, that on Scary Hours 3, which is definitely not going to be any, deviation from his usual course, because the first two Scary Hours just proved to be like those packages, like an EP, that is more like, he just puts some rap songs on there that he knows is going to influence or like convince people that he's still there. He did it with the first one with God's Plan, a really big single, but then also Diplomatic Immunity, which was just for the people that doubted that he writes his own songs and that he was so capable of performing lyrically. And on the second one, it was What's Next, which was supposed to be a very big song. We had the Wants and Needs with Lil Baby, which was hard, and then also Lemon Pepper Freestyle, which was his proof that he could still drop bars over a very long beat. And so I think that those are always like the little packages where he's like, yo, I'm still here, I can still deliver. And he's done it twice, like with both of them, and then dropped the album after that. With the first one, it was Scorpion. With the second one, it was CLB, obviously. So if he does drop a Scary Hours 3, we of course also have the possibility of another album coming, even though I don't want to talk about that yet because it's so far ahead in the future and we don't have any real evidence on that. But the Scary Hours 3 pack in itself is the thing that I'm looking forward to and hoping that he can really convert back. I don't want to say convert back, but at least pull some energy from the past stuff that he's done, because we always talk about these rappers and how the old version of them was better, but in reality they're just evolving as anyone is, and I like that they are evolving. For example, some people evolve, and I got no problem with that. J. Cole, Kendrick, they all have evolved their sound, and people still, in their case, they're like, I want the old J. Cole, but I can look at J. Cole's career and be like, he's still right now putting in all the work. Like, it's not lazy, it's not half-assed, it's still him going hard, and I respect that, and that's why I can respect the newer stuff. Well, with Drake, Scorpion and CLB, it just didn't seem like he cared that much, and like he was trying to be his best. So that's the reason. Not that I want the old Drake back. If Drake right now was going hard, grinding every day, trying to give us the best music he can, but I just personally don't like it from a subjective standpoint, then that's cool. I just don't like it, but I respect the dude for making the music. But if I can just tell that he's not caring about it as much anymore, or that he's just putting stuff out for the sake of putting it out and staying relevant, or for commercial reasons, then I can't respect that as much as a Kendrick or J. Cole that are still trying to put out their best work. That is the point I'm making. Don't confuse that, because I've seen the argument from the other side around as well quite a lot. So that is the reason why I'm a bit worried about Drake falling off, just because his effort in the music has been declining. And it might not even be the effort. He might be in the studio trying to come up with new songs and all that, but maybe then the right move would be to take a 2-year break and come back with a great album. If he's worried about becoming irrelevant because he's not putting out stuff constantly. So that's kind of like the split where I see this thing, the split road. But I am pretty sure that Drake is going to be able to come back. I don't think it's a matter of falling off, because this new album proved that as well. Doing 200,000 your first week with an album like that nobody expected, that was a surprise drop that he announced 6 hours before, is still crazy. But I just don't hope that he thinks, oh yeah, look at this, I can drop anything, and then just continues to do stuff like this, and at some point it doesn't work like that anymore. I think that is a point where we could talk about falling off. But I think if he does, put in the work, drop a great album for the rap fans as well, because, in the end, that's the main people that got him to the point where he is today, and then the mainstream carried over and listened to all the Hotline Blings and One Dances and all of that. But hip-hop, is still his like family. Like, that is still his home, where he comes from. And so I do believe that he needs to supply them a little bit as well, and that's what we're here for. That's what the Scary Hours 3-pack is for, hopefully. Now, I know the question of Drake falling off, it sounds pretty ridiculous. How is Drake gonna fall off? But I think if he keeps doing this, if he keeps doing these CLBs and Honestly Neverminds, the first couple of times gonna be like, look at Drake, he can just drop anything and he still does numbers. We've seen that with CLB. We've seen that with Honestly Nevermind. But he can't continue doing that forever. And so I think at some point he needs to be like, I'm still the old Drake. I can still come through and kill everything, and that's what I hope Scary Hours 3 is for, at least in my, in my hopes. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on all of this. If you have any more stuff you want to say about this, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to post it in the comments. If you're not a part of the Discord yet, make sure you do become a part of the Discord and post your thoughts on this discussion in that server. I really recommend that. Great place. This is so far what I got for the whole Drake falling off matter. I think it's going to be very interesting to see where Scary Hours 3 is going to take the dude and where he then takes it from there. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I'm looking forward to the next couple of them when I start, filming myself doing these, maybe incorporating some more stuff. So I think that's going to be really exciting, and I'm looking forward to that quite a bit. So I'll catch you in the next one. Y'all take care. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.